In Australia, ultra marathons are very popular. The most common distances are 50 to 100 miles that people run. One of the longest and most grueling ultras is 544 miles from Sydney to Melbourne, Australia. It can take up to 5 or 6 days to cross the finish line. Most of the runners are under 30 years of age. Many of them are elite athletes who are commercially sponsored. But in 1983, to everyone's surprise, a 61-year-old sheep farmer named Cliff Young, he entered the race. He showed up in baggy overalls and a white t-shirt. People laughed at him. When reporters questioned him what he was doing there, he said that when he was young, they couldn't afford horses or tractors. So when a storm was rolling in, he would have to go out and round up 2,000 sheep on 2,000 acres. He said that it would sometimes take 2 or 3 days to round them all up, and he'd be running after them himself. So Cliff was used to running long distances. But when the race started, it didn't look good. All of the elite runners left Cliff far behind. To finish the race, runners usually have to run for 18 hours and then sleep for 6 hours. But Cliff's only plan was to just keep running. He ran during the day and he ran at night. He ran the entire distance without any sleep. No one was laughing when Cliff was crowned the winner after 5 days, 15 hours, and 4 minutes. He crossed the finish line almost 10 hours ahead of the second place runner. And that's how Cliff Young, a 61-year-old farmer, set a new world record for one of the most grueling marathons in the world. Cliff kept his focus on the finish. He didn't care who was ahead of him. It didn't matter who was behind him. He just kept on going. He didn't quit. He didn't get discouraged that others had a bigger head start. He didn't keep turning around to see if they were catching up. He just stayed focused on the finish line, and he won simply because he didn't give up. Hebrews 12, 1 and 2 tells us, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith." There's the key right there. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Focus on finishing well. Some of us have spent too much time turning around to see what other people are doing. You spend too much time listening to the laughter from the critics on the sidelines who aren't even in the race. You have to run your own race. They have theirs, you have yours. When you stand before God, He's not going to ask you what place your opponent got. Run your race. Focus on Jesus. He is the author and perfecter of our faith.